type ball compositions. I'm sorry, Rhine or Ramatra brawl compositions to dives of the world where you're playing Wrecking Ball, you're playing Winston, you're playing Diva. I think the only thing that really doesn't suit itself that well on this map is more of a poke style composition, but both these teams are gearing up as we see the Vanguards already coming out on that Ramatra brawl like I talked about.
So, the sides are actually swapped right now, and right now we'll denote Falcons are in actually in red, and the Vanguards are actually in blue at the moment. So, we'll get that sorted out for you here in a few short moments, but until then, we'll keep those denotions going for you.
As the Green Hope Falcons are coming out on this, did it swap now?
Yes,
I wasn't paying attention. Okay, so the Vanguards are coming out on this Orisa composition, which again I consider Orisa more of a poke style tank, but I think with the, especially with the Javelin, you can disrupt a lot of what the Ramatra is trying to do. But you got to get up there. Oh, they already found the May.
Yeah, nice pick. Zika comes in there already, taking Spicy Pepper out. That's a lot of disruption now gone from the Green Hope Falcons. They're looking to keep things going, though. They're going to look to rotate around. Bob on this Reaper is going to get a little too overzealous at the positioning. Not working out well for them to start things off, but right now, Vanguards are sitting pretty on the point, looking for really anything to stay on.
And they get to rotate around, they get their May back, so now this is their opportunity to really push in, especially since the Vanguards are down their Reaper right now.
Yeah, they've got to win this out before the Reaper comes back, with the May wall coming out as they come in here. The Reaper is now back, and that's going to be a lot of frontline damage, but with Emerald Boa going down, things are looking a little bit better here for the side and the team in a red at the moment, but it's still anyone's point. It's still being traded all around, but it looks like Zika and Fika are going to be able to hold things on with the Photon Barrier coming out from Hyrukin. It's still not going to be enough to stabilize on the point.
And when Crisis was ensuing, Joker, Crisis was the one who came through with the big play. Got a ginormous anti-nade onto two members of the Green Hope Falcons and allowed Vanguards to focus them down very quickly and stabilize themselves, even though they were down people in that fight. Going through to this next fight, we got Fika and Crisis 10% away from this Nano Blade. That is their win condition.
It definitely is. With this Nano Blade, can be so much damage coming out, but they need to be able to keep Fika alive for the time being. The healing's there, and they're almost up to it. But still, the rotation has not come in. There's the teleporter into the backline, trying to take away that sightline, but Oblivion goes back to spawn, and they might not even need that crucial ultimate combination with everything going the way of Vanguards yet again.
They don't, and this is Final Fight territory. Literally, they're going to win this with 5 ultimates in their back pocket. I don't think I've ever seen this in my years of casting Joker.
Well, they used it in the end, but it's, I mean,
no, that don't count.
It doesn't count, but he used it in the end. But yeah, I don't think they actually had to use an ultimate, right?
No, they
to win
didn't.
that first round out, which is insane to me.
It is ridiculous. As we head in to University, I do think this map is going to favor this Ramatra kind of composition, but the problem is, in this Orisa composition that Vanguards are playing, they also have Bob on this Reaper, who just puts so much pressure onto Shadowstorm on this Ramatra and makes his job that much more difficult.
Yeah, that's what you gotta keep looking for with Bob. Getting that frontline damage, taking down that tank, which is so important to keep up in Overwatch 2, with only being one tank left. As we've seen that work out well for Vanguard so far.
Because he's loose, you go for some environmental kills, unfortunately comes out with nothing.
Yeah, nothing coming in. Now they come into the fight with the tanks dueling in on this corridor. But it's Vika, the one to start things off yet again as the rotation's still coming through. The Ravenous Vortex is there, but it's still so hard to push into this composition that Vanguards is running as they get the first capture percentage as Bob comes in from the back. Hyrukin back to spawn, finishing things up. The rotation is there, but no swift step to get away as they continue things going in the favor of Vanguards.
Because you have to realize the situation that the Green Hope Falcons are in, Joker. You're trying to play this brawl, and you have this Reaper in your face just unleashing these Hellfire shotguns. But while you're always trying to deal with that and minimize his effectiveness, you have Fika on this Genji who's just in your backlinks and being that nasty pest that you just can't stand, like what a Tracer's supposed to be doing. And it's just causing them to have to look in all these different directions.
Yeah, the directions, it's always a great way to think of these fights at multitudinal. Oh my goodness, a huge save coming in there, though, from Zika, taking Hyrukin out of the fight, now trying to build up to this Genji blade from Vika to really wrap things up if they need it. They might not in the end, as they're just going to get a nice anti-nade from Crisis with now Nano and Dragon Blade alive for Vanguards.
And this is where I think we're going to start seeing a lot of ultimates pop from both of these teams. There goes the Photon Barrier.
Yeah, Photon Barrier coming out, but there's the deadly Nano Blade coming in. But in response, the Annihilation and everything else being used by Green Hope Falcons to come back into this point. The Death Blossom does come in from Bob, and he's found 3. And that might be able to hold on. There's only 2 players left, but it is just Shadowstorm left on the point as Bob finds 4.
As Bob comes through for the Vanguards when they needed him most, and there you're going to come back. You're going to have this Coalescence for Sustain. You have this Terra Surge, but Spicy Pepper has that ultimate Blizzard. Let's get them the point.
That's a nice teleporter to the point, but that anti-nade yet again coming in clutch from Crisis, but they've already lost 2. The Terra Surge is now in. Bob has found Hyrukin, and they might be able to hold on still yet again, especially if they can take over Otaku out. That's so much speed gone, but no, they're still alive and fighting things out. It is just Zika left on the point for now, and well, they're not there any longer as Green Hope Falcons take their first capture percentage of the night.
He was trying so hard to take out those pesky support players, but Dodge and Weave did the Lucio, did the Kiriko, because they just have such great mobility. That's the key to the Green Hope Falcons, trying to avoid Fika and Zika on these this tank and Genji combo. Just them having the mobility to not allow this dive to be as effective.
As they look to come in here with that dive-esque composition with Bob wrapping it around the back. Not going to find anyone out. They were so low. The anti-nade yet again from Crisis has just been on point, but the follow-up not there. They still have this entry, though, into the point, and we're hoping to get it back quite soon. The Mayall no longer there as well, and that might just bode everything that they need to win it out. With Over Otaku now gone, that speed no longer there. The Kitsune Rush trying to keep that speed going, but they now bumped into the quarter, trying to come through with the Kitsune Rush, helping it out with a Death Blossom of their own. Hyrukin only finds 1 as they now pop their own Death Blossom. The Nano Boost there as well. The Annihilation in response, trying to keep things going, but it is just Bob yet again doing something for Vanguards and taking the map 1 or 2 up.
Okay, all praise be to Bob the Reaper, but that was completely because of Crisis.
Yep.
Not only kept him alive, but got that anti-nade onto the Ramatra, who is mid-annihilation. So then you're able to focus him down that much faster and get that troublesome ultimate off the field. So, we've seen a lot of flashy plays from a lot of these DPS and tank players, but if I had to start with an early MVP, I'm looking at Crisis. His Ana has been ridiculous.
No, I definitely have to agree with you there. We always, as casters, get caught up in the flashy plays, but then, thankfully, I always have my guy Ray right there to bring me back to earth, talking about the supports who are always setting things up for success.
Yeah, I mean that's their. I mean, you even talk about just the amount of damage output that even supports can do nowadays. Keep your team up and do a lot of damage. It's kind of ridiculous the power that supports can play in Overwatch 2. As if you are Green Hope, I mean, you gotta completely reset, switch things up. I mean, that was kind of a dominating effort coming out from the Vanguards. I mean, you do get the map pick going forward, so you got to make sure you pick something that's going to suit your style of composition. It seemed like they really liked playing that brawl with the Ramatra, so I would think if we're going to hybrid next, I'm thinking maybe Midtown, maybe Kings Row.
Yeah, so our hybrid maps are Hollywood, Eichenwald, and Kings Row. So that
Kings Row out of those ones is what I would guess then.
So I'd have to agree with you there. Not even just because people like it suits what Green Hope Falcons want to do. It's just everyone's like you pick Kings Row if it's in the map pool. That's just how things work, especially when your games are casted. So take a poll. Every stream that Kings Row is available, how many times do you see Kings Row? And well, we've got the go ahead from our production staff that, well, we are right. Kings Row is going to be the map pick.
Yeah, I mean, again, as we mentioned, it's not that big of a shocker. Kings Row always gets picked, and then they also very much favored Brawl, and that is kind of what Kings Row is known for, is those Brawl compositions, Reinhardt's, Ramatra's, just raining absolute terror onto different teams. So if you're Green Hope Falcons, this has to be, I don't know, like the ailment that cures the sickness of losing, I guess.
Yeah, I just... Like you said, the Reinhardt and the Ramatra, I'm interested to see if Vanguards, which one of those they pick up, or if they stick with the Orisa, because it still can work out for them. It did work out well in sort of those Brawl-esque portions of Oasis, but when that happens, are they going to be able to continue to run head first into Green Hope Falcons, or running that Ramatra?
That is going to be the big question. I mean, I liked what I was seeing out of the Orisa, especially using those javelins to disrupt so many. I mean, Mei can get very heavily disrupted by the javelin because you can't ice block while you're getting javelined, and then the rest of the team can focus you up. So it does a lot to disrupt what Green Hope Falcons were trying to do. Are we just going to continue to see that kind of pressure going forward? As defensively, we're going to continue this poke style composition with the Sigma.
You can hear my questioning. I don't think I've really ever seen Sigma be used on Kings Row. I mean, besides when double shield was just so prevalent in Overwatch 1, it just seems wrong here, Ray.
I get that 100%, especially going into a Ramatra, but you have the shield to be able to shield him off and get him away from his healers. I mean, that Ravenous Vortex is kind of just like a drop in the bucket for Sigma. You have a lot of sustain.
Ooh, that's
as Ramatra can't output a ton of damage, but that Mei wall is devastating.
Yeah, that Mei wall is just gonna win them that fight most likely. But hey, they've lost Shadow Storm now, and the follow-up could be there unless Spicy Pepper can get into a great place, and well, they're gonna be able to do so with Overataku still alive on this Lucio, speeding them around the places. They do lose Spicy Pepper in the end, but they're already to the point with the Sleep Dart there, as Vika in the back line looking to deal some damage. The dash throughs are coming in, but Overataku, the one to get all the picks in the end with the help of Hirokin, as Green Hope Falcons look to capture quite early.
Yeah, as this Sigma, this Mei of Hirokin is just going to be so troublesome. Sigma can't eat up that primary fire, and these walls have been, I mean, that one, you're forced out the Wraith form of Bob, so I mean, you may have not gotten the pick off, but you're forcing out key cooldowns out of these players.
Yeah, the cooldowns have been, especially the Mei walls that we saw from Hirokin to start things off, is just so well And like you said, they're able to force things out and get people out of position if they continue to do so. This is going to be a very good map for Green Hope Falcons, but Bob's going to be able to wraith away for the time being as the Coalescence is out from Oblivion, forcing people back, getting that extra bit of healing, a lot more damage now coming in with the Blizzard, forcing them back. They are going to get frozen up and focused down. Those Crisis, Zika trying to stay alive, but it's just not enough. Shadow Storm going full Nemesis form, taking them down as Green Hope Falcons look to keep things pushing.
And to me, Joker, that fight was a story of tempo. Just they were so aggressive. Green Hope know they needed to get this cart moving, winning with their ultimates aggressively when Vanguard had so many of their own, but they were just playing more defensive, kind of like what Poke Style does. But you needed to start getting some time off this clock and use these ultimates as Vanguard comes in with 5. This has to be the fight where they finally get their footing.
Yeah, it definitely has to be. Look for the Coalescence to be the thing that starts off. The Annihilation's going to come in and wake them up in the midst of it, and they've lost Fika out. The Gritic Flux is going to be used early on. Not the first thing that I was expecting, but still a great way to enter as another nice anti-nade does come in. The Death Blossom from Bob is there on top of the point, and they are going to get the footing back into this. The sound barrier is there, though, and the Coalescence now coming through. That should be enough unless this Death Blossom finds multiple picks, and it does. Spicy Pepper says, I'll show you one better, taking 4 out as Fika gets away, and the ace does not go in the way of Spicy Pepper.
That's just really good play by the Green Hope Falcons. OW2 uses that sound barrier to sustain the 3 of them and forces out Coalescence and all the cooldowns that they had to use to back up. So then Spicy Pepper's able to take full advantage of that and Death Blossom it. Unfortunately, that took everything, and they have a Nano Blade online for the Vanguards.
Yeah, I was about to say that Nano Blade is a perfect way to get things under control here, but Bob needs to stay alive as well to get that follow-up damage on to anyone who does not fall to the blade of Fika, but still not even using or investing this. Finally looking to get into positioning, looking for that play to start, and there it goes. The Dragon Blade coming in, and Oblivion's already oblivious to all the damage coming in from them as Fika finds 3. The follow-up from Bob is there onto Haruken as, they almost get the late stagger kill on the Spicy Pepper.
But, I mean, that was basically what you had if you're the Vanguards. If you're the Green Hope Falcons, you had to come back, you got a Blizzard, you got a Coalescence. This is your fight. You're looking at 2 fights to probably have to win, so you gotta, I'd probably play this a little bit more patiently and build up to some more ultimates so you have some to use after you gain advantage in this next fight.
Yeah, definitely. They still have time. 3 minutes and 25 seconds on the board as Bob looking for a pick, but it's Spicy Pepper coming in, and now the ultimates come out from Green Hope Falcons as they drop that May ultimate. The Blizzard now going to be just forcing them away, forcing them back from the guard. The Gritic Flux does come through. They've got to start a hold yet again with these ultimates. They've got the Coalescence available as well. That's going to be used here and now, trying to keep everyone out and through this Annihilation with the Death Blossom coming through, and in the end, Vanguards are able to hold on. Again, they had to use everything.
But in the midst of all that, Fika got up to almost 65% to that Blade, which if this mid-fight takes long enough, he might be able to build up to this. But Spicy Pepper and OW2 Blossom Sound Barrier combination, the sustain and just the absolute damage on the field. Green Hope Falcons should be able to bring this home with those 2 ultimates.
Oh my goodness. Crisis yet again coming in with huge anti-nades. But like you said, they can use the sound barrier defensively or offensively. They have whichever way they really want to. Keep everyone up and healthy or be the sign to go in. But they might not even have a chance now with another nice anti-nade and a pick onto Haruken. They're just forced back.
As we start approaching 2 minutes on the clock, Green Hope Falcons, however, have been playing this very patiently. They didn't implement any ultimates. They know they just need to build up to some of these and then let them rip in this next fight. But they're going to have to deal with a Nano Blade once again.
Well, yeah, speaking of letting her rip, the Death Blossom is alive and well for Spicy Pepper here, but Bob yet again in this this flank positioning, looking for that pick, but they might know where they are, and they're going to teleport in, try to get some extra damage in now, but and then they're not able to do so. The Coalescence is out from Oblivion, and Spicy Pepper, like Batman from on high, the Death Blossom comes through. It is eaten up mostly, but Crisis goes down before the Nano Boost can get out, and Fika is so low. They are going to be able to get that health back and stay alive for the time being, but now they have to wait for Crisis to get out of spawn, and Bob's going to go join them. Now things are looking a little bit more rough. They still have the ultimate advantage, though. Here they've got to figure more things out with the Dragon Blade finally coming through. The Nano Boost is there, but the Sound Barrier in response keeping them alive, but well, Spicy Pepper cannot stay alive through that damage. The Annihilation does a lot for Green Hope Falcons as well. 40 seconds to go, and Fika's still buying time on the point. They do go down in the end. As the Blizzard comes through, that might be enough to hold things on with the Coalescence coming back from spawn. The anti-nade there as well. Can they find the pick onto someone to hold things in the end for the defending squad of Vanguards? And they do lose out Crisis with an anti-nade there. Can they follow up the damage? The Death Blossom coming in. Bob at the 11th hour might have done enough to hold on. 2 players left from Green Hope Falcons. Can they clean things up for Vanguards? And in the end, they do. It looks like a Spicy Pepper is the only one left. They've just got to clear out this Tracer on point, and they do that in the end. The overtime bar ticking away. Lucio back onto the point, but not for much, not for very long. Is the overtime bar finally? Nope. Still going strong. The stall for Green Hope Falcons, but they've got to find a pick if they want to have any opportunity of turning the tide of this fight, and that's going to be that in the end. Vanguards hold on point 3.
Shout out to Emerler, sorry, I cannot say that name properly. The Moira for Vanguards completely kept up Bob in that struggle. Emerald Boa, there we go. Something like that. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name.
Mareld, but Emerald seems appropriate.
Anyway, they completely kept alive Bob in that fight on the Moira, allowed him to build up to that Death Blossom, and allowed him to make the hero play that kept the Green Hope Falcons from capping all 3 points. So now if you're Vanguards, you have that win condition to go up 2-0 in the series. You basically have to full cap Kings Row.
Yeah, so they're going to be bringing back the Orisa here, Ray, and well, it worked out for them on Oasis. This just, it's not, I won't say it didn't work, the different comp of, like, not using Reinhardt or Ramatra didn't work, because, I mean, it worked out in the end. They were able to hold on, but it didn't work until they could find their footing, and especially if things don't go their way too early in this, we've got to see if they can be able to swap onto something different.
Yeah, well, with the Orisa, you kind of take away some of the value of Hieroken on this Meg. Having that Fortify can completely take away that CC effect of the primary fire, as well as there's no shield leak that Spicy Pepper's going to be able to do on this Symmetra.
Well, Spicy Pepper's already found a pick with those sentry turrets. Fika is going to be having a very difficult time to really come into this point, and it'll be interesting. I don't think we've really seen them play anything other than Genji right now. So if it gets countered out, are they going to be able to swap off? The Javelin throw is there, but the damage from Spicy Pepper is just so much right now. The Blade Wall comes in, not going to be able to take them out. The Javelin comes in, but Spicy Pepper has found another pick. As Zika is back to spawn, they have to buy more time.
Yeah, it's just so much damage. Zika just cannot sustain long enough, even with the Fortify and the Javelin spin, to deflect all that damage. If you're Vanguard, you have to find a way to take out the Symmetra. The damage she is outputting is just so oppressive for Zika.
It really is. They've got to be able to just close the distance, but without any speed, boosting heroes, it's going to be very difficult with that Maywall coming in yet again. It's just going to win them that fight. The Coalescence is going to be used to clean things up in the end. Things are not looking good for Vanguards. They might have to make some swaps.
I full-heartedly agree. I mean, they are coming up on ultimate, so I think they'll probably take this next fight. 5 ultimates in their back pocket. It should be enough to be able to secure them this point, and then once you cap it, that's when you ultimately make your swaps.
Yeah, they've got to, they better hope and pray because, oh, okay, yeah, Bob is just going to go right in, take Harukin out of the fight. That Blizzard no longer a factor in this fight, but the Photon Barrier is now there as they're now looking to come in, especially losing Shadow Storm. The Sound Barrier tried to stabilize, but things are not looking good for Green Hope Falcons, but still, things are coming in. The Dragon Blade there as well. It's only going to find Spicy Pepper in the end. Pika does take out over Ataku when the Dragon Blade is no longer there. And finally, Vanguards are able to open things up.
The one thing that you got to keep in mind, Joker, is it really doesn't matter how long it takes you to cap these points if you're Vanguard at this point, because you don't have to, you know, full cap and make sure you have time on the clock. You just have to get to the very end of third point, and Bob is just absolutely applying so much pressure, getting these late staggers and just getting all this free cart progress, and at the same time, they're going to have their Coalescence and their Terra Surge to be able to use to help out against this Blizzard.
Yeah, that is just a lot of, that's just great from Bob right there. And, well, they do lose Emerald Boa out, though, early on. And that Coalescence, like you said, no longer available for the time being.
Yeah, so this is where I feel like if you're Vanguard, you need to start looking to back up. Your Fortify has been caught. So if you're a Zika, you got to be careful.
Yeah, Fortify no longer there means it's a lot easier to kill the Orisa, and, well, we see that happening. And losing Emerald Boa is just going to be the nail in the coffin for that push for the time being. Now Green Hope Falcons set up their defense.
As Emerald Boa, you can't allow yourself to get picked early like that, because then Green Hope Falcons are able to just win that fight without committing a single ultimate, and it puts the power back into the hands of Green Hope Falcons. As now you have to come back in this fight, 3 ultimates, but you got to be the aggressors and use ultimates to try and get a decisive advantage here.
Yeah, they definitely do, but Blizzard's going to be the one to start things off. That speed boost, just getting them into the positioning that it helps Green Hope Falcons take things in the end. They use 2 ultimates, and, well, it wins them the fight, and that's all you can ask for.
Couldn't agree more, but if you're Vanguards, just a smart decision. Let them ult dump. Keep your ultimates in the pocket, gain as much percentage as you can, and come back to live another day, as you'll be coming up on about 4 ultimates to be able to use here, and you're really only looking at a Photon Barrier and an Annihilation. So the Annihilation from Shadowstorm is the one you gotta be prepared for. Get ready to try and mitigate.
You really do, as now they come in through this fight. The Annihilation looking to be used any second now, and there it comes out from Shadowstorm, trying to, well, make Vanguard suffer as they have, as Ramatra so eloquently put it. But it does not seem to be working with the Death Blossom coming in. Bob's going to be able to get the picks in the end for Vanguards and continue their push. 4 kills for the Reaper.
Being able to win that team fight with only 2 of your ultimates committed is a very good sign for Vanguards, because they're going to have to take one more fight ultimately before this gets fully delivered. So they're able to bank this Nano Blade to be able to try and win this next fight and get the point delivered.
As they're rotating through, the Symmetra teleporter gets them to the portion of, to at least contest the point.
Oh, no.
Shadowstorm goes in, takes Crisis out. That Nano Boost we were talking about no longer available. The Terra Surge, though, does get people low, but can they capitalize on it? And it does not seem to be the case, as Oblivion pops their Coalescence and just pops damage in, as well as that extra bit of healing. Green Hope Falcons are able to hold on. 30 seconds to go.
Poor positioning from Crisis on that Ana, and Green Hope Falcons are able to capitalize, getting them down, taking that Nano Blade off the board. 20 seconds on the clock. This Nano Blade has to win Vanguards this point, or are we looking at a tied 1-1 series? But Mr. Hyokin has this Blizzard, could completely disrupt what this Nano Blade's trying to do. It played perfectly.
Yeah, if they can take out the May, that would be massive for Green Hope Falcons, but, well, the Blizzard's going to be invested early on, but Fika's in the backline finding 3, and that is all they need. They are going to try to hold on, but it's just not going to be possible. It's just over Otaku left, and, well, they're back to spawn in the end. Vanguards have a new lease on life.
Minute and a half, however, left on the clock, so you're probably looking at 2 to 3 good fights if you're Vanguards to try and take this 2-0 victory. The one ultimate I'm looking at is Bob. He has come through time and time again with the Death Blossom. Very close to 1. Could be what Vanguards are waiting for to get them this 2-0 lead.
Well, speaking of Bob, we're in a yet again advantageous flank position from the Reaper of Vanguards. With the contest coming in onto the cart, the Maywall's there yet again as Shadowstorm almost up to their annihilation here to hold things out, but they might not need it. With Zika going down, buying them more time. 45 seconds to go. You cannot afford to lose anyone from Vanguards right now, but they almost have lost Bob. The healing is there. 35 seconds now to go.
Mr. Hirokin is just giving, is just giving these team fight wins without having to commit a single ultimate, just because of how good these Maywalls have been. Shout outs to them.
Now, things are on the precipice of changing for either two teams as the Photon Bear is going to be invested early on. They are going to be backing up, allowing them to get through, but the Death Blossom's there. It's going to fight 3! No way! Bob yet again comes in with the Death Blossom that Vanguards needed. And no, Fika finds Oblivion! There's no way, Ray! They can't, there's going to be a touch, but they're not going to be able to have a good one. Oblivion's gonna not be a it's not gonna be a factor at all. They find the picks they need, and Vanguards are able to take the map.
Wow. If I'm Vanguards, I'm like swiping some sweat off my forehead. That was way too close for comfort. But as I mentioned, Bob is the hero of the day once again. And I think getting that pick onto the Moira for Fika at the very end, 1, you cannot be allowing that to happen, and 2, it completely disrupts the contest you're going to have, because Moira has an ability to fade to the point and the heals to output to your team. Take that off the game, off the server, especially with the overtime spawns, that just wrote disaster for the Falcons.
And not only that, Oblivion had Coalescence. You cannot die right there if you are Oblivion. But
it's where you see this kind of composition ever, so it can lead to interesting decisions from teams.
Speaking of interesting decisions here, Ray, where's the Hanzos? Wait. I'm not laughing at it's just confusing. I mean, it's a breath of fresh air for Circuit Royale, but it's just not something that I'm accustomed to seeing at all. But we'll see how it works out. Hirukin is the only one on a traditional DPS for this map, and we'll see if that can work in their favor, or is it just going to be too difficult with Bob and Fika on these two DPS that they're playing.
Yeah, I'm also not used to seeing the Ana on this map either. It's normally always Bap Zed, as nice pressure coming out from Fika.
Yeah, and Fika's going to go in, and that's just going to be what they're looking to do with Hirukin being on the Widowmaker on Circuit Royale, getting in their face and taking them away, and that's what they've got to continue to do. As Oblivion almost goes down as Hirukin's going to make a swap.
As something's got to change here. It's tough to live as a Widow like that when you have a Genji constantly diving on. You're not able to take the angles and the sight lines that you want. And Bob is doing a great job of making Shadowstorm's job hard, forcing out those shields early, finding picks too.
Yeah, and they are finding the picks, and now they're forcing back Green Hope Falcons, especially if they can find over Otaku here on the Zenyatta, and they do. Fika takes them down and holds on yet again for Vanguard.
I mean, so far, so good on this defense coming out. For Vanguards is that big ante. These antes coming out from Crisis are putting so much it just pressure onto the Green Hope Falcons and not allowing them to easily push up.
Yeah, as now they come in, the Flux is there, and Zika's down and out. They don't have their own Flux to respond, but they still have this Nano Blade as Fika's in the back line. There's nothing to stop them. Fika finding 3. Can they find another one? No, Bob's going to be the one to find out that last pick, but in the end, Vanguards hold on.
They could have found out that last one, but Bob stole it from him. Bob, give him the 5K. As now we look towards this next fight. If you're Green Hope Falcons, Oblivion has this EMP. That has to be the win condition you are looking for and set yourself up for victory. And if anything goes bad, Over Otaku has the sustain to give with the Transcendence.
Oh no.
Oblivion!
Oblivion's gone too. Well, Oblivion, as Vanguards are just going to be able to hold on. That's going to buy them another 10-20 seconds, but no, Emerald Boa going down. That is disastrous now for Vanguards. They have been holding it so for pretty well, with the EMP coming in. Shadowstorm finds out Zika, and that should be enough to open things up, but no, Bob fights more! What the heck, Ray? That's just ridiculous. That should have been all Green Hope Falcons, but in the end, Bob is staying the course and keeping everything in their favor for the time being. Do they find out Shadowstorm? No, the healing is there in the end.
I don't think I've ever seen a Reaper who consistently gets this amount of value out of the Death Blossom's Hirokin. 2 picks as you're going to force back Vanguards, but with 30 seconds left on the clock, you're going to have to win at least another fight if you're Green Hope Falcons.
I like this choice from Oblivion here. The Pharah coming out is huge. We have not seen a hit scan come in from Vanguard just quite yet. So it's going to be really only Crisis or Emerald Boa that can really deal with them. It's going to be difficult. Zika's super low right now. They've got to come in. 12 seconds now on the board. They have the ultimates to stabilize. But the Grinovic Flux is going to come in. The Discord Orb is on Shadowstorm, and they're down. The Grinovic Flux no longer a threat in the fight. They find Crisis out, but no, Ray, they get off the point. No,
not the Charlie Niner,
not the C9 of the Youth's Winners Circle Summerstorm.
Oh no, I don't know if I can for sure say they would have ended up winning that, but it was looking pretty good. So it's so unfortunate to just not touch the point like that. And now you are in such a bad position if you're Green Hope Falcons. You basically have to fuller hold to keep your tournament lives alive, as Vanguard just has to cap first point and they'll be heading on to the semifinals.
So I do like that, like I was saying, the change from Green Hope Falcons. No, they're not going to keep it. They're not going to keep the Pharah here, which I really liked. Like I was saying, we haven't seen really anything besides Reaper and Genji from Vanguards. So to make them have to aim in the sky onto, say, a Pharah or an Echo would be the real showing if they can pull out something other than these two heroes.
It's an interesting DPS combination, because even with the Zen and the Ana, in my head I'd be thinking, oh, just go Winston and dive them, but Reaper throws a wrinkle into things, because I mean, unless the Reaper can just play bodyguard and not allow you to dive if you're playing Winston, it's just you change up the way you're playing this composition. So it's just like you mentioned, I think the Pharah or an Echo definitely would be what's on the menu to try and make something happen. But I mean, look at this. I mean, you're getting Oblivion on this Widow, but look at the space already Vanguards have.
Yeah, and Fika and Bob are just continuing. Hey, they don't really need to play anything else right now, Ray. They're just finding all the picks necessary in the world. Shadowstorm did get a little bit out of position there. They find Emerald Boa, but well, that's all they find as Vanguards will open things up.
And because they completely wiped Green Hope Falcons, I mean, you get all the way up to this next quarter, so really you're looking at one more clean team fight win, and that is all she wrote for this quarterfinals match. Green Hope Falcons have to find an answer on a hope and a prayer and make something happen.
Yeah, they are looking to figure it out. They've got the hope. There it is. Spicy Pepper is going to take out Emerald Boa. Well, that's just going to be, that has to be a reset for Vanguards. There's no way they can turn it right. Yeah, okay, they're just going to be fully backing.
It's not like Bob has Death Blossom to be able to
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
But again, that's only not even half the time is off the clock. And then again, like I mentioned, one fight. They could just play this patiently, build up to their ultimates. I think the Nano Blade is the win condition they're waiting for. Both the Ana and the Genji are getting very close. I just think that's what you're looking for if you're the Vanguards. Just be patient.
Yeah, you still have all the time in the world right now. You've got it pretty close, but you can't be losing players like that. You want to build up to your ultimates, and now it's just going to buy more time for Green Hope Falcons now with the sights up. Oh,
excuse me?
Perfectly timed. The deflect takes Oblivion out, and now the opening is there. Crisis is so close to this nano boost that they can be able to invest this. They knew they were behind, but the EMP does come through, and Crisis does go down. The nano now not available for a little bit longer, but they're still on the back foot are the Green Hope Falcons as they look to hold on for the time being. Bob is out of the fight, and that should be yet again Green Hope Falcons holding on.
There's no immortality field. Crisis around the corner. Nano Blade could end things if they go for it.
Yeah, and they're looking for the opportunity to come in. The Terra Surge comes through. Spicy Peppers is down. They've got the Gravitic Flux out, but it's not going to find anything but Crisis. But they've used the Nano Boost in the end, but there's still some way, somehow they're holding on. The Dragon Blade there in the end, though, going to be all they need. Fika coming alive at the proper moment. Vanguards take the map and the series in a 3-0 fashion.
Vanguards were just the better team today. Their DPS and their supports were just, I mean, their entire team was on a different level. Crisis on this on, I talked about how clutch they were. Fika just continued to put pressure onto the opposing supports, and Bob had all of the big time hype plays that a play-by-play caster just absorbs and loves so much.
Yeah, they were just the definition of clutch as well, with Fika there in the end to wrap things up in a 3-0 fashion. The Green Hope Falcons their tournament lives are over for now, but well, Vanguards of MISD have a new lease on life, booking their trip to the Summer Storm semifinals.
Too many S's for you, huh?
Too many S's. I don't know about this. But we are going to do a short little break until we get that semifinals matchup ready and roaring to go. Don't go anywhere, and you're not going to want to miss more Youth Winners Circle Summer Storm Overwatch action right after this.